Hi everybody. So the final video I wanted to make is to kind of combine what we learned about for loops and arrays, and we can understand the concept of looping through arrays. So imagine we wanted to print every student grade, and so we could console log student grades 0, and then student grades 1, 2, and 3 for the last one. And that would let us print out every student grade: 92, 85, 78, 95. Great. And that works, but obviously we're repeating ourselves a bit. And so there's a principle in coding called dry, or do not repeat yourself. And basically the idea is that if you find yourself writing the same code again and again, there's probably something better you can do in coding that could fix that. Because imagine if this wasn't a class of 20 or a class of 4, but a class of 20, or if one of those auditorium classes in big universities that have 300 students in it. And we're not going to write 300 lines of code to log every grade. So we've learned about a tool that can do things multiple times. We bust out our good friend the for loop. And this is a standard syntax that you're going to see basically for looping through arrays. All the time you're going to type the same thing: for let I equal 0, and I is less than. And here's a neat trick. You can get the length of an array with a property. So if we want to say, while I is less than the length of the array, we can do student grades dot length, and that is equal to 4. If there was 100 items in this array, there would be 5. And finally, we can do I++. Oops, I'm creating extra characters there. And just to prove to you I'm not lying, we console log student grades dot length. We get 4, and if I put 4 more grades on there, so let's do 55, 89, 34, and 88. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we log that, we'll get 8. So that's a dynamic property that will update no matter how many items in the array. So for let I equal 0, I is less than sum array dot length I++. And now if we want to print every value in the array, all we have to do is console log student grades. And this is the tricky part that you got to remember. We're in a for loop and we have access to a variable that's going to increment on every loop. So we have I starting at 0, and then 1, and then 2, and 3. Well, guess how indexes go in an array? 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we do console log student grades I, we will print every value in the array. And one thing of note too is that this is where the less than comes in handy, because once it gets to the length of the array, there isn't an index of 8. This last index is 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So once we loop the last and print the last value, I is equal to 8, and we go through let I equals 8, and 8 is less than 8, well, that's false. It breaks out of the loop and will go out. So make sure you do, if you're looping through an array, you want less than. If you accidentally do an equal, you're going to get this last little nugget undefined at the very end of the for loop. So that is how you loop through an array. And thank you for joining me in this module.